Today we've got a very special treat. I've got my good friends Jeep Rubicons right here, and we're going to go over these vehicles, their purpose, sustainment, and how they pertain into what we do here on this channel. So getting into these two vehicles, there's a specific philosophy behind them, and that is simply we have our fighting vehicle over here and we have our sustainment vehicle over here. The idea behind this is that they can support each other. So this vehicle is going to have all your boys, your guns, and it's capable of getting into an area, scouting, and even fighting if it has to, and we'll go over the features of why that is. Once the scout vehicle has done its job, we're going to go over to the sustainment vehicle. And the point of this is these will be in radio contact. So once an area has been scouted, either fought, defended, or found to be a good one, the sustainment vehicle will come along and set up camp. So let's go through both these vehicles, starting with the fighting. So this Rubicon is a 2022 JL, and it has a 2-litre engine that is turbocharged. And that was really important in the decision of this vehicle. So let's get into what's under the hood. So what we have here is that Jeep 2.0 litre engine, and that was very specific. A lot of guys, I think, get caught up in the power of the vehicle, but the point of these is your WROL, your bug out vehicles, and again a fighting vehicle. So fuel economy is key. So that was a decision of my mate going with the 2.0 litre. Engine is pretty standard under the hood, but coming around to the front of the Jeep, let's talk about what we've got up here. So on the front of this vehicle is where the fun begins. We've got a steel bumper, and that's going to be key for any sort of bug out situation, especially a fighting one. On the front of this, we also have recovery shackles, and coming across we have a recovery rope. Now this isn't any sort of special rope like in our rappelling video that we did recently, but it's essentially if rope is needed to take weight off of a vehicle or a certain part of the vehicle, make sure a tire doesn't slip, then we've got that on the front. The coveted and famous American KC lights, of course, which can be angled outwards when driving in a desert or an open area to get a wider field of view. The headlights are standard LEDs, and we also have IR lights on the front. Now my mate painted over these to give it almost like a cat's eye type of look, and that's because there's too much flood, and these covers can actually come off also. But IR lights for driving under night vision is one of those, honestly, things we all wanted as a kid, right? So we got more lights coming up front, and on the winch is where the business really is. So winches are something you don't want to cheap out on, and this one has a very nice winch. It's made by Smithy Built, and it's fully capable of recovering this vehicle, either towing itself out of something or towing another vehicle. What's cool is that my mate upgraded this to a fiber cable, not a metal one. Metal ones, when under tension, when they split, they'll fray and you can risk injuring yourself. So this is a fiber cable. The idea is when this fails, hopefully it doesn't, but it's going to fall more or less on the ground. This is obviously remote operated, which is another safety concern. You do not want to be up here pressing a forward backward switch on this thing while you've got a few £1,000 either end. Coming across to here, we also have the tires. So the tires are K2s by Goodrich, and the suspension is upgraded. So these are Falcon suspensions, and they are actually adjustable, so you can adjust the ride on them. It also has extended sway bar disconnects and your diff lockers, and that essentially, for those who don't know, locks your differentials. It allows the tires to spin with the same speed and power. Oftentimes you'll see a tire slip, and lockers essentially avoid that. Another crucial feature on an off-road vehicle. Coming around to the front of it, we've got obviously the doors, all standard. They can be removed on the Jeeps. Coming to the inside compartment, basically what we've got is both doors can come off, the roof can come off. We have a rifle inside there. We also have our equipment ready, and a really cool feature, I'll go around the other side and show you guys that. So some features of the passenger side. Again, we've got these awesome roll bars. We've got containers with batteries up here, your grab handles, a pair of binoculars, again for observation and the mission of this vehicle. We also have radios for each vehicle, as well as radios up here, and satellite. You'll also see a GPS unit down here also, rifle of course, space for magazines, medical, and the coolest feature is going to be this. So this is a harness to strap yourself into so the passenger can actively lean out of the vehicle and engage targets. My mate did a great job on this, and honestly I'm really impressed, so I cannot wait to get out and actually use that. But before that, let's look at the rest of the vehicle. Back to the passenger compartment now. This is spaces deliberately left open. Again, this is a fighting and scout vehicle. So right here we have observation, we've got night vision, thermal, we've got medical, magazines, water, rations, whatever you might need, and of course a go bag if you need to scout further by hand. So speaker system of course is a must, but back here it's left bare and simple for a reason. Coming across to the back though is where some of the other toys are. So we got a spare tire in the back, and then we've got where all the fighting kit is. So rifle of course is a must. We've got an axe up here also, combat webbing, because let's be honest guys, it's 2024. If you do not have combat webbing, you're wrong. This webbing in particular, made by Crossfire Australia. I've used webbing from all across the world, and this is by far the best webbing. Alice webbing is outdated, it doesn't make any sense. This system is phenomenal, and it makes sense that a vehicle like this would have this style of webbing. Again, this is that light scout roll, it's that fighting roll, so you want something where you're able to carry Sustainment 12 magazines. The crew of this vehicle's kit has to reflect its mission. It makes no sense to have armored up CQB guys in a vehicle that is made for scout reconnaissance. Coming across here, we've got batteries, tools, headsets, a light, which is an important feature, and that allows us to actually come in here at night and look at that. We've got the axe up front. An axe is essential for firewood, clearing debris and things of that nature. In the back also we have medical equipment, which is a rip away. We've also got sustainment shelter, a small top, a large top. A nice feature of this vehicle is my mate has actually attached carabiners here, and the shelter can come off of the vehicle and 2 hammocks be drawn out for the crew. We have more gear down here, some recovery equipment. This is an awesome pouch right here. So this is ropes, your remote for your winch, and recovery pulleys. What's awesome about these, I believe this is made by Crossfire also, is the modularity of this. Their toggle system, you can attach it to Molly, and it makes organization really easy. All the pouches you're going to see here are actually made by Crossfire. Coming across to this side, we've got fuel, and this is a really cool idea that I like that my mate did. This is actually, it looks like a water bottle, but it's not, don't drink it, it's fuel. And that's for small items like a stove or a chainsaw, or you have to start a fire. Sometimes you don't want to take a big fuel can off the side of the vehicle. Here we have a fire extinguisher, which is painted. OSHA would have a fit, but it's camo and looks tactical, so I quite like it. And of course a headlamp back there. You want that lighting ability to flood the rear of the cabin. All right, let's go around to the side. So coming around to the side here, we have our fuel tanks. So these are 4-gallon fuel tanks per side. When it comes to fuel, guys, it's really important that you understand what your fuel burn is. You know, that 2-liter engine, my friend did the math, and at 45 miles an hour, he can make it, it was a round trip and back, almost halfway up the entire East Coast. So with a full tank, full reserve fuel, you know, he knows his burn and he knows the speed he has to drive at. So you haven't done that math, I highly suggest that you do that. Along with the fuel, we also have the recovery winch strap as well. So a last note on the fuel, guys, I've been doing a ton of research on fuel containers. There is so much bullshit out there when it comes to this stuff. Guys, this stuff is flammable, it is dangerous. You need to buy a high quality container, either these or the ones made by Scepter, because if you get a spark, you know, especially if you're going to be using this vehicle, what it's intended for, you need to know that that fuel is fully secure. So guys, remember, the philosophy behind this vehicle is it's a fighting vehicle. It's going to have a team of men in there. So one crucial thing or cool thing about the Jeeps is that we can take these doors off. I want you to imagine it, and then take the roof off. You can have a guy, maybe 2 in the passengers, a guy up front and a guy in the back. That's some serious firepower if you guys, you know, rip some Red Bulls before going out. So that is the fighting vehicle. Now that we've scouted with the fighting vehicle, let's go over to the sustainment vehicle. So coming over to the sustainment vehicle, this is a 2023 JL Rubicon with a 2.0 engine. And remember, that small engine is deliberate. We don't need a lot of power to move these vehicles, and that fuel economy is really what we need. Coming across the front, we've got, of course, our KC lights. We have our metal bumper as well. We have a winch with a steel cable and our recovery shackles. Coming across the side, we have a metal fender with our running lights and the suspension with the same BF Goodrich K2 tires. What's really nice that my mate loves about these metal side guards is that he can bump into something on purpose, no distance, and really adjust. Doesn't have to worry about actually ruining the Jeep. So with that, let's get started and do our walk around. This one is pretty box standard, but it's got a few features that I really enjoy. So if you guys want to come close, I can show you those. First one is obviously going to be your American handgun. That is a must. Just simple water, sustainment, same thing. We got battery and comms up here. General purpose GP panel with maps, knives and the sort. Both Jeeps have radios pre-programmed on pre-decided frequencies, which is really important. And again, this one is left pretty open. So let's have a look and see what makes this Jeep special, which is in the back. So coming to the side of this vehicle, we have a few cool features. The first one, which I really like, is going to be that step down or step up little assist here, and that allows you to access what is on the roof. Now on the roof we have two Pelican gun cases, and that's to keep guns or ammunition. Coming across here we have our max tracks. These are recovery tracks, and these are really cool. They can be made to get out of mud or even bridge over little ravines. Just like our fuel tanks, you do not want to cheap out on recovery vehicles. Next we have our recovery strap, which is on the side, and just like on our other one, our 4-gallon fuel tank. So coming around to the back of this vehicle, this is where the magic really happens. So the back of this vehicle is really where I get excited, and it's so cool to see. And honestly, I can't decide which vehicle I like more. But what's really cool about what my mate's done is oftentimes we see vehicles that are trying to do both fight and sustainment. But here today, we're lucky enough to actually see a vehicle fitted for sustainment and then fitted for fighting based off of the same chassis. So with that, what makes this so special? So looking into the back, we have a lot going on. So the biggest thing is going to be these two big containers here, and inside here is going to be food and honestly your sustainment materials. Think hygiene, think food, water, any extras like that. Of course, we have our pack, which is obviously going to be fitted out just like our combat webbing, but in a sustainment manner. So again, it's going to be your water, your sleep systems, your food, fire, shelter, water, guys, your essentials of survival. Coming across here, we have pouches on the inside of here, and these are all filled with anything from batteries to medical to fire lighting materials, shelter building, repair, clothing repair, feminine hygiene, things for kids, all this type of stuff. Coming across, we have jackets, night vision, medical kits, spare tents, and again, it continues all the way around. Guys, the organization in these vehicles, I am beyond impressed. You know, having a system that you can organize everything, just like my mate did here with these Crossfire pouches, is just awesome. Coming up top of here, something I really like is this metal shelf, and this links right into the roll bar. Of course, you have your flashlight right here, so we can create a flood at night if we need to get in here, and that's going to be really essential. Coming down, we've got more sleep systems and tarps. We also have a water container, and we can double up on these on the inside or outside of the vehicle as needed. One of the cooler features about this vehicle, though, is going to be the propane tank here for cooking, which brings us to the kitchen. So right here we have our kitchen, and this is so cool. This was actually handmade by the owner of this vehicle, and he just did a beautiful job just mixing these woods and planing this cutting board. And that's the fun thing about these vehicles, right, is we can make them custom, and we can add things that we want to see. So don't feel that if there's something on the shelf, or yet you go to a website and they don't have it, don't be scared to make it, innovate. That's just as much fun of building these vehicles. So in here is our kitchen. We've got all of our cooking utensils, knives, forks, things of that nature. But what's really nice is we can actually fold this down like so. We have a prepare surface that's hard metal, as well as a cutting board that fully extends. Your propane tank's right here, so you can hook in anything you need to cook, and the metal on this also allows us to hang anything that we might want to cook either as well. So having the ability to have a kitchen, I think, is one of the most underrated things in these survival vehicles, guys. Everyone talks about tactical stuff, everyone talks about guns, but no one talks about getting, honestly, good sleep and good food. And when you're out here, remember, it's okay to enjoy yourself and it's okay to have fun, and nothing brings community together more or morale higher than a good meal. Now, where my mate has blown it out of the park is this. Now, this isn't on the vehicle right now, but I can talk about it. So what it is up here on the roof rack, you guys are going to see a big space. We also have a shovel as well, and there's 2 gun cases we mentioned earlier. But what's really cool is he actually has, it's almost like a bladder, and you pressurize the bladder with a bike pump. And you fill that bladder full of warm water, which you can easily warm right here. Everything's within arm's reach. You fill the bladder full of warm water, you put pressure into it, and you actually have a shower. So not only does that allow you to clean yourself, which is a huge hygiene deal, I don't think we realize how dirty we actually get in the field, and the ability to have a shower is not only a morale booster, but a massive deal when it comes to hygiene. So it's got a shower, which I'm hugely impressed. And not only that, but we can also clean stuff. So whether you've got dogs or you've got to clean plates, that ability to warm water and then have it pressurized is a huge deal. So guys, there you have it. There's an intro to these awesome vehicles. A vehicle is a huge bonus that we have here in the modern world, and I highly suggest that you take advantage of it. As I said, I cannot decide which of these vehicles I like more, but one thing I do know for certain, I will definitely be building my own. Although it'll probably have to be a Land Rover, right? All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.